Hey guys, I'm going to show you how I put an 8-inch sub in my Honda Element. I didn't want to have a bulky box in the back holding like two 12s or even two 10s. What if I wanted to haul anything, I would have to unhook it and deal with a mess of wires. So what I did is I put an 8-inch sub where originally there's a 6-inch sub. Now stock, you can't fit an 8-inch sub in that hole, but I was able to open it up a little bit and get its fit, and I'll show you how I wired that up. Alright, and if you remove just the stock cover for the sub, you see that what I have mounted under here is one 8-inch subwoofer. Like I said, it doesn't fit originally, but what I was able to do is open up the edges a little bit, just make the hole a little bit bigger, and get that to fit in there. And there were some holes, it wasn't completely airtight, even though there is a vent on the back for air, so you get a better sound. I filled it in with Dynomat just to insulate the speaker better, but it is mounted in there really with screws, so it's not going to go anywhere. And the number one thing that I got when I originally posted this on the Honda Element forums was people have tried this similar thing in cars, and what happened is it hits, the sub will rattle against the front of the grill, and that did not happen at all. I was kind of nervous for that originally, but I'm lucky enough it's pretty far in there, and the sub is pretty far in there originally, and it sits far enough back, and I think that my sub is shallow enough so it can sit far enough back where I won't even get near this. After installing just the 8-inch sub, there are already, with the stock amp and the stock deck, subwoofer out and a subwoofer setting as well, so you can adjust the sound of it. What I did though is I ran that to an amp. Some amps will just take a speaker wire straight in, or maybe most, I'm not sure. And you can just go speaker wire in, and then you can amplify the sound, and you can kind of adjust the sound to make sure that it sounds better for you. And run back to the sub, and that sounded really good. And I had like that for a long time, and I also just had my amp sitting on the ground down here because I wasn't really sure what to do with it yet. But recently, what I did is I upgraded to the Pioneer app radio, which I like a lot. I was saving up for something more expensive, like a nicer Kenwood navigation deck, but those are really expensive, and I was reading some reviews about the Pioneer, and I wanted to try it out, and actually I'm pretty impressed with it. I like it because it has all the outs that you need to have better audio, and it also powers off an iPhone, which is perfect because I already have an iPhone, and so you can do your maps on it, you can do other navigation apps, which are really cool, and all of your music and video, like YouTube apps and Netflix and stuff, so it's really cool. And another thing I did is I took my amp that was on the floor, and I mounted it underneath my seat. The only problem that posed for me was when you have to have tools to get the seat off, and just be careful that you don't turn on the car or you have airbag errors and stuff like that. Make sure that you're just careful, make sure everything goes back in how it's supposed to go, and you have to cut a vent. There's one vent under there, I believe it's for like the air conditioning and heater, and you just have to cut that so the amp can fit inside of there really nicely, and I just kind of rerouted it over the amp so it blows out over the top and doesn't blow out onto it and overheat it or anything like that. And I can show you where the amp is and how easy it is to adjust where it is. So with the seat pushed all the way forward, if you come back just around the seat, you see that my amp is right there. And it's so easy to adjust because all the controls are just right here. And I got a smaller amp, as you can tell, so it will fit under the seat, or else I don't know how you can get a much bigger amp under there. And all the, of course, the power and the grounder on the other side. And I just grounded it right to the frame, and I ran the power and the actual inputs here underneath the vinyl, more in the center console to the front and up through the center console to the deck. And so when you slide the seat back, you cannot tell there's an amp under here whatsoever. And so it keeps it safe from anything that might be hauling back here and any passengers and where their feet might be, and if they're muddy or wet at all. And I think that's about it for the sub. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Somebody else asked me, what else have you done to your Honda Element? It kind of inspired me to make this video here. What else I've done though is I have taken out everything in the car. I took out the flooring, I took out the panels off the doors and the panels out of the back, and I installed stuff called Dynomat. If you guys don't know what Dynomat is, it's really cool. You install it on your floors in a lot of older cars if they're made of mainly metal and they're really loud on the road. It really dampens a lot of that road noise and any kind of rocks or other debris or dirt hitting the bottom of the car and making really loud like tinny noises. It quiets it down a lot. The Honda Element is a pretty loud car. That's one of my least favorite things about it, but with that Dynomat in it, it made a huge improvement. You kind of got a low hum still, but it takes off a lot of that road noise, especially on the freeway, and if you're driving down any kind of dirt and stuff like that. You can check out the other videos I've made. Here is one. It's also about the Honda Element. It's about a bed that I made for the back. And basically it easily fits 2 people, and it's much more comfortable than lying on the ground back there with sleeping bags or just lying on the front seats reclined. And it's perfect for camping or if you want to take on a road trip so you don't have to pay for hotels every night. It's awesome. So check that out, and also don't forget to subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it, guys.